Alright, so this is going to be part 5 to what if female deku was kokushibo. Now, in this one, I'll be covering Kokushibo's court trial, the overhaul arc and the movies as well. So that's what I'll be doing, and this is going to be the finale. Like, I know some of you would want this to go a bit longer, so if you want, I can make a remake of this What If in the future, where it will be a lot longer. Alright, so we begin after Kokushibo was captured by the heroes, and we are currently in, I believe the Mustafa district has a court, I believe. I don't know, but if it doesn't, I'm going to say it does. Where Kokushibo is put on trial for unsanctioned usage of a quirk, vigilantism, and I believe and homicide of villains. As this trial goes on, Dabi has gone to the trial area, but he's remaining hidden. As the trial continues on with basically, since Kokushibo is a vigilante, she has rescued a few people, so those people are defending her in the court, stating that she has saved multiple people on multiple occasions when the pros couldn't do it themselves. As Endeavor is on at this trial as well, as Endeavor is currently doing a cross examination, I believe it's called. I don't know what it's called. As Kokushibo would say these words that would send a chill down Endeavor's spine. She would say, "If you believe that I should be on trial for these crimes, then you should be on trial for what you have done to your family as well." As she's basically giving him a cold stare that sent a chill down his spine. As the trial continues on, the jury and the judge is about to give their final verdict when Yorichi comes into the trial and gives his side, stating that she was doing what she could without having even though she didn't have a hero license and what she did was illegal, she still did what she could to save people and protect them. And he also stated that if he was in her shoes, he would have done the exact same thing. As Dabi, who's in the rafters, who's in the ceiling right now, drops down and he says that this is true, that after she had found him, after he had overused his quirk, she had raised him like he was her own son. With Mount Lady also coming in to defend her, stating that she had also risked her life to protect her from All For One as well. With the trial taking a couple days before before the jury reaches their final verdict and the judge gets to their final verdict, as Kokushibo is found guilty, but she isn't going to be sent to prison. Instead, she'll be under the watchful eye of Mount Lady, and she would also be under the eye of multiple UA staff members, and would have to be, and in order to keep an eye on her 24/7, she would also have to be in the UA dorms, which is literally my lazy way of getting Yoriichi and Kokushibo to spend more time together as siblings. As this would happen, Kokushibo is given a court counseling collar, which doesn't do anything, mainly because, one, what she has isn't a quirk, and two, the marks Yoriichi and her have, I've looked at some of the comments stating that they do give power boosts and they shorten the user's lifespan. Yeah, that doesn't really work on Kokushibo because, one, her abilities aren't a quirk, and two, Yoriichi is just got plot armor. That's why he won't die at the age of 20. So, with out of the way, Kokushibo is sent to UA, where Dabi is also sent there as well. Where, Dabi does still have the, hair dye in, so he still has the same hair color as Kokushibo. As once Kokushibo gets to UA, they are asking your Kokushibo for a lot more information, like, personal information like her age, and anything else you can think of, as Kokushibo would reveal her age as her being about 36, I believe I said she was about 36, with everybody being surprised, since Midnight was around the same age, I believe Midnight was around the same age as well, she would ask how did she still look so young, with her stating that she is technically immortal, with her stating that she is technically immortal, with her, she hasn't aged since she has gone to the age of 18. As everybody is surprised by this, and she is put into the same dorm area as Class 1A, with her having her own area. As I'm just going to describe what her UA dorm room looks like. It basically it has like basic breathing techniques on the walls. She also has books on fighting styles and breathing techniques as well. She also has her notes on her moon breathing and Yoriichi's sun breathing, and Dabi's blue flame breathing as well. With Dabi looking into it from time to time to see what her notes were on it to see where he can improve on it. Which is why Dabi's blue flame breathing is so powerful, because he was looking through Kokushibo's notes to improve on it. With Yoriichi spending a lot more time with his older sister, as they both begin to their sibling bond does begin to grow and repair over time, as Kokushibo and Mount Lady do get back together. After the court incident, Kokushibo and Mount Lady do get back together with them both with since she's under Mount Lady's eye, she can technically still do her vigilante activity if she has permission to use her abilities. Now, Kokushibo did explain to Mount Lady that her abilities weren't a quirk, and the fact that she had these abilities since she was born, and the reason she has multiple eyes is because she was turned into this by somebody named Kibutsuji Muzan. With her basically giving her basically her life story, stating that once she was at the age of 16, she was very sick due to this pointing towards her marks on her head, stating that these marks were in her family for generations, and that the user of these marks would usually die before they reach the age of 20. So around the age of 16, she was getting very sick, and she was basically bedridden until somebody came by and stated that he could stop this mark from killing her if she agreed to become a demon. To which she agreed to this, as Mountain Lady does feel sorry for her, knowing that she had to go through that. But with Kokushibo stating that I didn't do it because I wanted to stay alive. I did it because I wanted to protect Yoriichi. As she looks over and sees Yoriichi socializing with everybody in Class 1A. As Mineta, when he first saw Kokushibo, he would try to perv on her, but Kokushibo wouldn't allow it. Just literally any time Mineta was near her, she would let off some murderous and some killing intent on to Mineta, which would immediately cause him to back off, because as we all know, Mineta can be a coward. As once she's gone socialize more with Yoriichi, she has helped Yoriichi improve his swordsman skills. So Yoriichi is a lot better with his sword. In fact, he's about at the same level with his sword as he is in canon. With us then getting into the overhaul arc, with her, and since Yoriichi had taken up an internship with Sir Night-Eye, he had invited Kokushibo to go with him for so that they could bond a lot more. She would agree to this, as she would go out on patrol with Kokushibo and Mirio. No, Kokushibo would go out on patrol with Yoriichi and Mirio, as Mirio would ask who is she, as Yoriichi would then state that this is his older sister, Kokushibo. As Mirio would greet her with a handshake as they would head to do their patrol. With them, with Kokushibo getting recognized by a lot of people, and some of the people who she did save thank her for saving them from any villains that did attack them. And that's when Eri runs out of the alleyway that she was in and bumps into Yoriichi. With Yoriichi looking down to see Eri, as he would ask her if she was alright, with Kokushibo noticing Overhaul walking out of the alleyway, Now, she has met Overhaul in the past. In fact, she had fought with him a few times, with Kokushibo and Overhaul seeing each other. Overhaul immediately begins to take off his glove as Kokushibo tells Yorichi to pick up the girl and run, as she tells the same to Mirio. As they do, as she says, as they begin running, as Kokushibo instigates Overhaul in combat, with her basically evacuating the area of civilians, as she would use hold on. Let me get the breathing tech. Hold on. Where is it? Sorry, give me a minute, guys. Alright, there we go. As she would use fifth form Moon Spirit Calamitos Eddie, I think that's how it is. As she would use that against Overhaul, the spikes that Overhaul was sending at her, which would basically destroy them. As once she got close up to Overhaul, she would use ninth form waning moonswath, I think that's how it is. As she would end up hitting Overhaul, which would basically cause Overhaul to fall unconscious with a few deep slashes in him, with Overhaul being taken into custody and the Yakuza basically crumbling, as Eri would be looked after by Kokushibo, since she already has experience with raising a child, Dabi. Alright, then we will get on to the movies with Two Heroes and Heroes Rising. Now, since Yoriichi had won the sports festival, he would take Kokushibo as his plus one to the island, as a lot of people who are on the island would recognize Kokushibo from her vigilante work, since a lot of people on the island had heard about her, as they would begin to surround her, with Kokushibo being crammed due to how many people are surrounding her, with Yoriichi Yoriichi basically pulling her out of that situation, as they meet up with All Might and Melissa Shield, as Melissa would recognize Kokushibo, but she wouldn't have the same reaction as the crowd did when the crowd saw her, with her basically giving her Kokushibo a formal greeting, with Kokushibo stating that won't really be necessary, as Kokushibo and Yoriichi would begin to talk with Melissa and All Might before the both of them would have to leave to go and do the trial thing, with them getting there and finding Bakugo and Todoroki doing the thing, the time trial thing, to see how many robots they could destroy, to see how fast they could destroy all the robots, with Yoriichi stating that maybe you should try sister, as she would say she wouldn't want to do it, but Bakugo would basically force her to do it, stating that you probably couldn't get better time than me, and half over here, as Kokushibo would take that as a challenge, as she would walk down, as just as soon as it started, she would use She would use 16th form. I think that's 16th form Moonbow half moon. As she would basically destroy all the robots in about 0.6 seconds. With Shoto and with Bakugo getting pissed at this, as he would charge down to Kokushibo, stating how the hell did she manage to destroy all those robots in 0.6 seconds. As she would then state that she could see all the weak points of the robots, and just aim for there with her techniques. With Yoriichi getting around, since sun breathing is a lot more powerful, since moon breathing is second only to sun breathing, Yoriichi would get fat. Yoriichi would be destroy all the robots, but not as quickly as Kokushibo, getting around 0.7 seconds, just about 0.1 second off of Kokushibo, as he would then state that you are getting better, Yoriichi. As he would thank her. With Kokushibo and Yoriichi then headed towards where David's shield was, and basically they go through the same things that they did in canon. Then when it gets to the final fight, Kokushibo and Yoriichi use both their most powerful forms, with Yoriichi using form 13th form of sun breathing, and Kokushibo using the 16th form of moon breathing. As they would basically defeat Wolfram, and that's where two heroes would end off, as we then get to Heroes Rising, with them arriving on the island. With a lot of the locals, since there aren't really that many heroes on the island, not many of them know about Kokushibo, but those who do know about her are just surprised that she actually exists, and that her younger brother is the top student at UA. With them both going, with Kokushibo basically spending most of her time training both Dabi and Yoriichi in their breathing techniques and fighting, and eventually Dabi and Yoriichi get a hang of total breathing constant, which for some of you who don't know basically means that they're both constantly breathing manually. So not manually, but their breathing is concentrated to where whenever they're being attacked by an enemy, they are already ready to use their breathing techniques. As Nine and his group would arrive on the island, but would be over a lot quicker, since Kokushibo would use moon breathing's first form, Dark Moon Evening Palace, as Nine would try to block it, but does get through the little air barriers that he puts up, as he would be sent flying with Yoriichi using his 13th form of sun breathing to basically knock out Nine, and the rest of his goons were dealt with Class 1A as they did in canon. And here's where the ending will come in. Yoriichi ends up getting his hero life, graduating UA, and become the #1 hero, as Yoriichi would be the #1 hero for about 80, would be the #1 hero until he gets to the age of 80, where he finally passes away. With Dabi, since Dabi is older as well, Dabi has also passed away. Eri is currently the new #1 hero, and Kokushibo had turned Mount Lady into a demon as well after they married, and Kokushibo still does her vigilante work. With the war arc going a lot smoother since Kokushibo was there, and Kokushibo would eventually track down Muzan, and kill him, as both her and Mount Lady would live for the rest of their days as the Mount Lady would be the top hero, and Kokushibo would be the top vigilante. And that is where I'm going to end the series off. I do hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you guys next time with a new What If that I'll probably post today. See ya.